Making headlines. The president arrives in Toddu, Alif Alif Atoll, embarking on a 2-day visit to several islands in the Alif Alif and Kaf atolls. The president reaffirms the government's commitment to completing the road development project and addressing various infrastructure needs in Toddu. And the health minister reveals that a comprehensive 5-year master plan on tobacco control is being formulated with the technical assistance of WHO.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to PSN News in English with me, Duham Naim. President Dr. Mohammad Moiz arrives in Toddu, Alif Alif Atoll, embarking on a 2-day visit to several islands in the Alif Alif Atoll and Kaf Atoll. He received a warm welcome upon his arrival in Toddu this morning. During his visit to Toddu, President Dr. Moiz met with members of Toddu Island Council and Women's Development Committee WDC. After his engagements in Toddu, the president is set to travel to Rastu and Mativeri within the same atoll. In Rastu, he will meet with members of Alif Alif Atoll Council, Toddu Island Council and Ukulas Island Council. Following his visit to Rastu, President Dr. Moiz will proceed to Himandu, where he will meet with members of the Himandu Island Council, Malos Island Council, Feridu Island Council and Bodufordu Island Council. He will also hold discussions with the WDC members from these islands. On Monday, President Dr. Moiz is scheduled to visit Gafaru, Hura and Himafushi in the Kaf Atoll. During these visits, he will meet with the respective island councils and WDCs as well as the residential communities. Throughout his tour, President Dr. Moiz aims to address the concerns of the island councils and WDCs regarding the development of their respective islands. He will also inquire about the progress of infrastructure and socio-economic developmental projects undertaken by the government in these regions. President Dr. Mohammad Moiz reaffirms the government's commitment to completing the road development project and addressing various infrastructure needs in Toddu, Alif Alif Atoll.
President Dr. Moiz reaffirmed the government's unwavering commitment to completing the road development project and addressing various infrastructure needs in Toddu, Alif Alif Atoll. He made this commitment during a meeting with the Toddu Island Council and Women's Development Committee. During his 2-day visit to several islands in Alif Alif and Kaf Atoll, President Dr. Moiz engaged with various council members to discuss the pressing concerns of the Toddu residential community. Key issues raised by the council members at the meeting included the need for improved healthcare services and the development of a new healthcare center on the island. The council members also highlighted space constraints faced by the local school and requested the formulation of a financial mechanism to support the island's socio-economic development. President Dr. Moiz assured the council of his administration's dedication to fulfilling electoral pledges and integrating these projects into the national budget. He also assured the government's commitment to executing the road construction project in Toddu. Cabinet ministers accompanying the president provided updates on the ongoing developmental projects to further reinforce the administration's focus on the island's progress. Following the meeting, the president signed the guest book at the Secretariat of the Toddu Island.
Minister of Health Abdullah Nazim Ibrahim reveals that comprehensive 5-year master plan on tobacco control is being formulated with the technical assistance of the World Health Organization, WHO.
Minister Nazim stated that efforts are underway to formulate a comprehensive 5-year master plan on tobacco control with the technical assistance of the World Health Organization. This initiative, aimed at creating a tobacco-free society, was launched under the directive of President Dr. Mohammad Moiz. Minister Nazim disclosed information about formulating the master plan during a panel discussion titled The Fara. He confirmed that a team of WHO technical experts arrived in the Maldives to assist the relevant authorities in developing the plan. Despite the involvement of WHO technical experts, Minister Nazim underscored the importance of public input, stating that since tobacco control is a public issue, the ministry will seek the general public's contributions towards the matter. As part of the administration's efforts to ensure the sustainable enforcement of tobacco control, the minister highlighted the necessity of overcoming challenges through the master plan. He also underscored the socio-economic benefits of reducing tobacco use, noting that healthcare savings could be redirected towards education and other vital sectors. He said that the government-driven master plan would receive support and assistance from all state institutions, making enforcement more effective.
Minister of Housing, Land and Urban Development, Dr. Ali Haider Ahmad says the government will develop the development zones in the north and south of the country to serve a population of 100,000 people. President Dr. Mohammad Moiz has designated 7 islands for development as urban centers. Additionally, President Moiz has decided to develop 2 special development zones, one encompassing the 4 northernmost atolls of the Maldives and another for the 4 southernmost atolls.
Minister Dr. Haider stated that the government will develop the development zones of the country to serve a population of 100,000 people. Speaking to PSM News over the landmark development plan, Minister Dr. Haider stressed on the need to develop additional areas similar to the densely populated capital, Malé City, especially in the north and south of the island nation. The minister highlighted that these areas are regions that include populous islands located far from Malé. He added that the government's plan also includes developing separate urban centers within the urban regions. Furthermore, Minister Dr. Haider said that those zones are being planned to create job opportunities along with wider opportunities for tourism and the chance to expand private businesses. President Dr. Moiz's election manifesto is dedicated to the government's policies on housing and urbanization. In addition to the Malé urban region, the government has announced plans to establish a northern development zone as a high-quality service area, including Ha Alif Atoll, Ha Dal Atoll, and Shavian Atoll. Meanwhile, Kurudufushi City has been designated as the main administrative hub of this zone, with Hanimadu in the same atoll established as an international gateway and the establishment of an international transshipment port in Ihevandipolu Atoll. The manifesto also includes the establishment of a southern development zone with world-class facilities encompassing Gaf Alif Atoll, Gaf Dal Atoll, Formula City and Addu City. Addu City has been designated as both the main administrative hub and the international gateway for the southern zone. The plan to expand and develop an international transshipment port, industrial activities, fisheries, agriculture, mariculture, as well as tourism facilities has also been detailed in the manifesto.
Minister of Transport and Civil Aviation Mohammad Amin says the government is trying to complete a new passenger terminal at Velana International Airport, VIA, ahead of schedule.
Minister Amin says that the government is trying to complete the new development of the passenger terminal at the country's main airport, Velana International Airport, VIA, ahead of schedule. In his message on the occasion of International Civil Aviation Day, the minister noted that as the world crossed into the 21st century, civil aviation has become more than a mode of transport for people, adding that it has evolved into the engine that fuels economic and social growth. He proudly noted that Maldives is among the developing countries that have fully kept pace with the modern changes in aviation. The minister said the national flag carrier, Maldivian, will bring its first wide-body aircraft and commence flights to more international destinations. In addition, Minister Amin said despite the decent progress of the new international terminal at VIA, the government is now pushing to complete the project ahead of schedule. He said that the country is preparing to resume helicopter operations in the island nation in a bid to diversify its civil aviation industry. He added that the service, including medical evacuations, will provide air transportation of tourists between resorts and airports. It will also facilitate night flights to regions with no domestic airports. VIA operator Maldives Airport Company Limited (MACL) had previously said that the new terminal will be completed and open for passengers by the middle of next year. In his message, Minister Amin said that the International Civil Aviation Organization is scheduled to visit the Maldives in the middle of next year to conduct an audit to assess the country's compliance with international aviation standards. He expressed confidence that the efforts of the Maldives Civil Aviation Authority under the government's guidance will pass the audit with flying colors.
Male Water and Sewerage Company MWSC completes the water supply network project in Kumburudu, Alif Dal atoll, addressing a critical need for safe drinking water in the island community. The project, initiated in December 2021, was carried out by the state-owned MWSC. For years, the lack of a proper network for safer drinking water has been a significant concern for the residents of Kumburudu, forcing them to endure considerable hardships. The completion of this project promises to alleviate these issues and significantly improve the quality of life on the island. Managing Director of MWSC Abdul Mateen Muhammad highlighted the collaborative effort behind the project. In a social media post, he stated that the project was completed with the hard work of many to ensure the supply of safe drinking water to the residents of Kumburudu. The government-sponsored project, costing approximately USD 2.9 million, included the development of a 2.75 kilometer main pipe network, the construction of a building to house a reverse osmosis RO facility, and the installation of an RO plant. Additionally, water storage facilities were developed and water meters were installed to connect households to the new network. The project was completed as part of the administration's efforts to ensure developmental projects across all islands, regardless of their size or population. State Utility Company Male Water and Sewerage Company Private Limited MWSC lists a USD 26 million bond on the Maldives Stock Exchange and invited interested parties to invest in USD 13 million worth of bonds.
MWSC has listed a $26 million bond on the Maldives Stock Exchange and invited interested parties to invest in the $13 million worth of bonds. The primary objective of this initiative is to raise funds for development projects and expansion of the company's business portfolio. The bond subscription has been listed in 2 tranches, with half of the total bond amount now open for investors through MWSC's online portal Vianney. Subscribers will receive 7.5% interest for the 5-year duration of the amortized bond. The company's revenue portfolio accounts for 55% from water and sewerage services, while the rest is generated as non-utility revenue. However, MWSC is aiming to boost its non-utility revenue by expanding the company's business portfolio to 60% of total revenue in order to ensure financial sustainability. According to Managing Director Abdul Mateen Muhammad, MWSC has secured new projects worth $84 million spanning more than 20 islands this year. However, Mateen said the company requires additional resources and equipment to carry out these projects, adding that financing is usually available at very high interest rates. MWSC has implemented major cost-cutting measures to save $11 million between the 3 quarters of last year and this year as part of its efforts to improve its financial capacity. According to Mateen, such efforts will boost the company's net profit by 100% this year without any added financial burden for people.
The Maldives Monetary Authority MMA announces the dismissal of 2 private sector representatives on its board of directors. The members removed from their position are Asad Ali and Muhammad Shahdi Anwar. Ali, who also serves as the Deputy Secretary General of the Maldives Association of Tourism Industry, MATI, and Anwar, Chairman of the Maldives International Arbitration Center, were the private sector members on the board of the primary regulator of the nation's financial sector. The central bank has yet to give reasons for their dismissal. According to the Maldives Monetary Authority Act, the President appoints the central bank's governor and deputy governor. The President appoints the other board other 5 board members, each serving a 5-year term, upon the governor's recommendation. The MMS board of directors is comprised of 7 members: the governor, the deputy governor, a representative from the MMS economic or financial sector, an official from the Ministry of Finance, a government economic sector official, and 2 directors from the private sector. The Maldives Media Council MMC appoints new members to fill 10 vacancies in the 15-member body.
MMC appointed new members to fill 10 vacancies in the 15-member body. This council, elected by the Maldives media, is tasked with preserving, promoting and maintaining press freedom within the legal framework. The 10 vacancies included 7 members from the media sector and 3 representing the general public. Notably, the election for these seats were uncontested. The newly elected media representatives are from Afatis, Wagutu, Hatavis, Miharu, Dieres, Hafsi.com and Tiladung. Members elected to represent the public include Fatmat Fahmi, Ibrahim Fauzi and Ibrahim Muhammad. According to the MMC Act, journalists from media outlets, regardless of their publication frequency, are eligible to vote in the election. Journalists and media personnel across 139 media outlets including television, radio, online newspapers and magazines participated in the election. The law does not require the 7 members elected from the general public to have a background in media. The council members elected serve a 2-year term. In addition to its mandate to work with the media to preserve and promote press freedom, the council hosts annual journalism awards. Unlike other countries that have a single media regulatory institution, the Maldives has 2 bodies with this responsibility. Besides the MMC, the Maldives Broadcasting Commission (MBC) regulates broadcasters. Despite substantial state expenditure on these regulators, there is growing concern over the enforcement of relevant laws and their efforts to ensure media outlets adhere to ethical reporting guidelines. To streamline media regulation, the government proposed a bill to the parliament to merge the 2 bodies into a new Media and Broadcasting Commission. However, the bill faced backlash and concerns, leading the government to retract it.
Qatar's Energy Minister Saad Al-Kaabi says that the country has no concerns about US President-elect Donald Trump's promise to lift a cap on liquefied natural gas (LNG) export.
Renewables. So a few years ago,
Qatar's energy minister has said that the country has no concerns about Trump's promise to lift a cap on liquefied natural gas export. Speaking on Doha Forum, Minister Saad Al-Kaabi added that his country would cope with any competition. Kaabi, who is also the chief executive of state-owned Qatar Energy, was asked about the impact of Trump's return to the White House on Qatar-US relations, particularly in energy. He said oil and gas projects were multi-decade plans and survive governments, but later added he thought Trump was good for business.
I think Trump is good for business, and there is, we have dealt with, President Trump's administration in the past. We have dealt with President Biden's administration, and for us, it's a relationship between the U.S. and Qatar, and an excellent relationship regardless of the administration.
Kaabi said the European Union should thoroughly review the Corporate Sustainability Due Diligence Directive, CSDDD, which will require larger companies operating in the bloc to check if their supply chains use forced labor or cause environmental damage and act to take action if they do. He said the penalty can be up to 5% of a company's total worldwide revenue, adding it would have far-reaching complications and harm companies in the bloc as well as firms operating there. He also said the Qatar Investment Authority, the estimated $510 billion sovereign fund, and other institutional investors would consider investing elsewhere to avoid penalties.
The United States unveiled an aid package of new arms and equipment to Ukraine for its ongoing fight against Russia's invasion on Saturday.
The United States unveiled a $988 million aid package of new arms and equipment to Ukraine for its ongoing fight against Russia's invasion. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin announced the new package at the Reagan National Defense Forum.
And I'm proud to announce today the commitment of a new Ukraine Security Assistance Initiative package worth nearly $1 billion. Now that package will provide Ukraine with more drones, more rockets for its HIMARS systems, and more support for crucial maintenance and sustainment. And that brings the total of U.S. security assistance committed to Ukraine since February 2022 to more than $62 billion.
Austin said that the incoming administration of President-elect Donald Trump must make its own choices on whether to confront Russia, but said he believed the former President Ronald Reagan would have done so.
This administration has made its choice, and so has a bipartisan coalition in Congress. The next administration must make its own choice. But from this library, from this podium, I am confident that President Reagan would have stood on the side of Ukraine, American security, and human freedom.
Trump has been critical of large-scale support for Ukraine in its war with Russia. Austin said that the administration of U.S. President Joe Biden would soon pass the baton and urged the Trump administration to build on the strength they have built. The defense package nearly halves the available $2.21 billion remaining in the Ukraine Security Assistance Initiative as the Biden administration works to commit to buying weapons from industry rather than pulling from U.S. weapon stocks. The USAI funds will be put towards buying ammunition for high-mobility artillery rocket systems made by Lockheed Martin, as well as drones and spare parts to maintain artillery equipment.
Teenage sensation Goat runs the 200 meters in 20.04 seconds at the Australian Schools Championship in Brisbane to break the national record Peter Norman set at the 1968 Olympics.
He's already got the stagger.
Goat runs the 200 meters in 20.04 seconds at the Australian Schools Championships to break the national record Peter Norman set at 1986 Olympics. The tall 16-year-old, who earned comparisons with Jamaican sprint great Usain Bolt after winning 200-meter silver at the World Under-20 Championships in August, won the race by a good margin at the Queensland Sports and Athletics Centre.
I've been chasing that record, but I didn't think it would come this year. I thought it would come maybe next year or the year after that. So just getting it now is definitely a great achievement for sure.
His run was clocked at 20.07, but later revised down to take him under the 20.06. Norman posted to win silver behind Tommy Smith in Mexico 56 years ago.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I mean, right now, I can't really process it, but I guess tonight when I go in my bed, think about it, it'll be pretty crazy for sure.
Smith and bronze medalist John Carlos later famously made Black Power salutes on the podium. The son of migrants from war-torn South Sudan, Goat lives in Queensland town of Ipswich, just down the road of Brisbane, where the Olympics will be held in 2032 when he is 24. Goat, who will turn 17 later this month, has next targeted breaking the 10-second barrier in the 100 and the 20-second mark in the half-lap race.
That's it for now. Thank you for watching PSM News. Have a good day.
Korupsiona kiikko ba?